Good afternoon to our Spin viewers. Welcome sa isa na namang episode ng Spin Zoom In. Kung saan ang Spin staff, we talk about we bring to the hot seat ang mga hottest sports personalities in the land. And for today, we have another special guest. He's one of the best coaches in the Philippines. But before that, pakilala mo natin or ipabati mo natin ang mga ating fellow Spin staff. Again, my name is Carlos Sacamos. It's my pleasure to moderate the show alongside my fellow Spin writers and editors. And first, pakilala mo natin. Dolph, kumusta ang iyong hapon ngayon?
Busy pa rin dahil naka-antapay tayo sa pag-alis ng Gilas, but we'll take a bit of a break and we'll talk to one of the most insightful coaches na sanay tayo nakakwentuhan. Nakakamiss na nga kasi pandemya eh. So we'll have to make do and we're looking forward to more tales from this coach na kakausapin natin today.
Thanks, Dolph. Ben, ikaw, kumusta? You're our PBA beat reporter and you've covered this guy for quite some time na rin. So, how are you today and what can you say about our guest?
Ayos naman, Carl. Actually, hindi lang sa PBA natin na-cover natin, pati sa UAAP one of the most successful coaches in the college ranks. So, we'll get to know him more in this episode of Spin Zoom In, Carl.
Thanks, Brad. Sir Jay, ikaw rin, you've covered this guy for also quite a while. So, what can you say about him?
Good afternoon sa lahat ng Spin viewers. Yes, mapapalaban na naman tayo ng English dito.
Yun, nga sir.
Bleed na naman, pero alam ko nakakaintindi naman si coach ng Tagalog eh. So we'll try to talk to him in Tagalog. Baka nga bigyan pa natin siya ng ng tawag dito yung
Tongue twisters.
Tongue twisters, yes. Kung may time tayo, bigyan natin si coach.
Yes.
Coach, gawin na lang natin Carl, all Tagalog yung interview na to para masaya.
Yan. Para siya yung magpalaban.
Wala nang nag-i-English dito,
Yan.
Something mahirap, Dodo.
And without further ado,
Taglish na lang, please. Taglish na lang.
Narinig niyo na yung boses niya. So without further ado, let's welcome our guest. He's an 11-time PBA champion coach, a Grand Slam champion coach. He's a former Gilas assistant coach, and he's now the current Meralco Bolts coach in the PBA. Let's welcome Coach Norman Black. Coach, good
Coach.
Hi guys. How's everyone today? Kamusta kayo?
Good, Coach. How are you?
Maraming salamat parang invitation dito, ha?
Okay, Coach, ha?
Full, all Tagalog na.
All Tagalog na, Coach, ha?
Ang tanong mo, English na lang. Ang Tagalog.
Coach, since you're coming from Lawag, Ilocos Norte, probably we can talk about in Ilocano dialect.
Oh yeah.
Mahirap talaga. Mahirap ang Tagalog.
Basit lang, Coach.
It's nice being here in the locals, though. It's very nice.
Really?
The hotel we're staying is right on the beach, so tapos na ang practice. May lunch, may beach, may viewing. So lahat dito sa hotel ng activities.
Sana all.
Sana all, Coach. You know that? Sana all, Coach?
I don't know.
Sana all.
What's that?
Explain mo, sir.
No, it's he better just ask Aaron. Aaron can explain.
And again, to our fellow readers, we're live on Facebook and YouTube, di ba, Jam? So kung may mga questions kayo and comments for Coach Norman, just send them in down below. And wala pa ulit si habol yata ulit si Idol Snow Badwa, so ako muna mag-fill in for his spot today. And I'm glad to ask questions and our fellow Spin staff ask questions to one of the best coaches in the land. So, Coach, kumustahin muna kita about let's talk about first Meralco's preparations for the upcoming Philippine Cup. How's it in Ilocos? And that's your second time there, right?
Yeah, dalawang beses na. Maganda dito sa Ilocos. Like I said, magandang hotel and malapit sa beach. So a lot of things for the players to do. Lahat ng araw may practice sa umaga from 10 to 2, 4 hours. And then tapos ng practice, balik sa hotel, lunch, sama-samang team. And then normally these guys rest. May dalawang oras may rest and then pupunta sa beach because malapit sa beach dito sa hotel. And then dinner. And then tapos ng dinner, we have viewing. So we view whatever we did in practice. Kanina, we view sa gabi to make sure we can improve every day.
How do you like being in a bubble, coach? Many players have said the teams that are in a bubble are more advantageous or they have a more benefit coming into the All-Filipino Conference.
I'm not a bubble lover, to be quite honest with you, because we're away from our families.
Yeah.
Most of the players, maraming players sa team ko, daming anak, and ang anak bata, diba? So they miss their families, they miss their wives. So kanting mahirap ang bubble situation. Pero ang thankful lang sa Meralco, sa MVP group, because of syempre may support for the team to come here. And let's face it, I mean, I was driving to Batangas, lahat na araw may drive sa Batangas. That's 2.5 hours one way, 2.5 hours coming back. So mahirap talagang situation sa Metro Manila. Pupunta Batangas, balik, and then the next morning, ulit. So at least mas maganda, may one hotel lang, may one bus drive lang, balik sa hotel. So at least the players can work a little bit better because of the situation here in Ilocos.
If the PBA starts, the PBA season suddenly starts in 1 week, coach, would you say your team is already ready to play, coach?
Yeah, we're ready now.
Oh yeah,
we can play now.
That's how well.
Well, it's not perfect. Pero ang conditioning ng team ko, okay lang. Maybe about 75-80%. Remember, we've been practicing for a month now.
Yes, no.
May dalawang linggo dito sa Ilocos. Then we did dalawang linggo sa Batangas and now balik dito. So we've been out for about a month now. We've been practicing. Maybe ang system, hindi kompleto ang system. Still some things some out of bounds plays, some zone defense, box and one, triangle and two, wala pa. Pero as far as the basic ang offense natin, ang defense natin, okay na. Pumasok na. So marunong ang players ko. So if, say, the PBA said dalawang linggo, may laro na, pwede na, Meralco.
Oh, that's good news, coach, no? At least, if the IATF suddenly says, oh, the PBA can start now, and then it's green and go, then, I mean, 1 month is really okay.
Ang sabi ko kanina, swerte talaga ang situation sa Meralco because they support talaga. You know, whatever we need, they take care of us. So we've been able to prepare well in preparation parang PBA conference.
But coach, aside from the management side, let's turn over to your players. How do you like the makeup of your team, coach? I know Sir Dodo asked you about that off air, but can you expound on do you like the makeup of your team compared to previous All Filipino conferences?
Well, alam ko, if walang talent, mahirap ang panalo, diba? Importante may talent sa team ko. And ang feeling ko lang, ang Yirito, this is the best talent that I've had at Meralco.
Yes.
By far the best team I've had. We're balanced. We have a little bit of size with Raymond Amazon playing the center. Si Noy Baclao ang pumasok din sa team ko. So gives us another defensive presence as far as bigs are concerned. Obviously, mas malaking team sa PBA. Siguro mas talented team sa PBA. Pero ang Meralco team ng year ito, this is the best team that I've had so far. So it's a balanced team. We still have to have a little bit of luck. Siyempre, you need and swerte, diba? Swerte. So hopefully walang injuries, walang sakit. And we'll be healthy going into the PBA conference. But I'm excited about my team on year ito.
How do you like your team relative to the other favorites and contenders?
Realistically,
Yes, Coach.
San Miguel is still at the top. Ginebra, Magnolia, Talking Tex. Just like on Meralco team, some of the middle teams have improved. Phoenix has certainly improved. Inlex has improved. My mind, Alaska also, even though they're young, they've gotten better. So it's hard. Mahirap talaga. I mean, even if you think, oh, a Meralco team, mas magaling na, the other teams mas magaling din, diba? So, Kunting Mahirap, even Northport. I'm sure Coach Pido is trying to put everything together now, but if you look at them individually, they look pretty tough.
Yes.
Slaughter's there now. Bullock is back. I mean, they just picked up a good rookie, so they look pretty tough. So you don't know how that's going to pan out. Para sa akin lang, mas importante ang sama-samang players ko. Because we always say that, you know, a solid team is much stronger than maraming individuals. I mean, you get maraming individuals, they may be galing-galing, pero ang problema, hindi yung sama. So we're trying to make sure we have teamwork and the guys are a unit and they play together as a unit. In other words, defensively, we may not have a Jumar Fajardo, but we'll have a solid team defense that we can rely on.
I don't know, Coach, if you've heard of Coach Yeng Giao's statement that there are only 4 teams that are gunning for or are in contention for the championship. Do you believe that, or what can you say about that, Coach Yeng's statement?
Well, veterano si Coach Yang, so alam siya ang situations sa PBA. Ang 4 teams, galing talaga, talented talaga. So I think he's spot on as far as they are considered ang favorites dito sa PBA. Favorites talaga ang apat ng teams. Pero ang feeling ko, you never know. I mean, you know, Yang is saying that, but at the same time, every time he goes up against them, you know, laban na.
Maybe he's just downplaying his chances against them.
Yeah, I won't say that. You have to ask Yang whether he's downplaying his chances. But what I'm basically saying is he's going to go out there and fight. He's not going to give the game to those teams. He thinks his team is pretty good too. And on any given night, you call them. Anybody can win, diba? So there's no question. San Miguel, Talking Tex, Ginebra, Magnolia. Ang malakas talaga ang lineups nila. Malakas talaga. Pero I still think that on any given night, pwede panalo ang Meralco team.
Yes, Coach. So yun, before I ask more questions and bago pa ako ma-nosebleed, Ben, ikaw naman muna. May question ka ba about PBA?
Good afternoon and
Good afternoon.
thank you for joining us. Coach, I have one question with the PBA, your campaign in the bubble. Do you think, Coach, had it not for that Scotty Thompson 3, you could have won it all in the bubble?
Well, hindi ko alam if panalo lahat kasi may kalaban din, diba? Si Talking Tex. Pero it was nice. Tapos na ang laro, tapos na ang conference. It was nice that finally competitive ang Meralco teams are all Filipino. because up to that point, it's like it was limang diretsong years, diba? We never competed well in the All-Filipino. So all of a sudden, we're almost on the doorsteps of making it to the finals and having a chance to a panalong championship. So that was certainly a confidence booster for our program. The fact that, we're here, we're there. We have our chance to win this. And you never know, if New had made that three-point shot on the other end, we would have been up. And there would have been more pressure on Scotty Thompson to make that shot because he had a wide open three-pointer on the play before. So, maybe, but who knows? I mean, as it played out, maraming sakit, diba, ang talking text players, especially Ray Parks. Out. So maybe we would have had a chance, but he never did not agree with all that. They were the ones that decided what would happen.
But Coach, what if TNT versus Meralco? Do you think what do you think you would have had a chance, or maybe you would game 7, or in hindsight, Coach, perhaps meron ka masasabi about that? What if TNT versus Meralco?
Ang mahirap ng laro if kung kalaban ng talking text. I mean, magaling sila. Daming talent. If kompletong team nila, syempre, national team na. RP team na. I mean, think about it. Rosario, Aram, Pagoy, Parks, Jason Castro, malakas ang lineup nila. Pero yeah, I think we can still hold our own. We can compete, even with talking text.
Coach, moving forward, you've got good pieces now in place. You have Mac Bello and your rookies. What was the wisdom behind getting Mac Bello and deciding on getting Alvin Pasaol, Coach? And how would they fit in the team?
Well, swerte talaga ang draft parang Meralco team because Alvin just dropped into our laps. We did not think he would still be available. Assessment ko lang, si Alvin, big time scorer talaga. I mean, just has the natural instincts to score the basketball. I've been fortunate lang over the years to coach a lot of time scorers. I've coached Bong Alvarez, I've coached Rahel Meneses, I've coached Alan Kaya Dick. I've coached some big time scorers, and I would have to put Alvin in that group of being a scorer. He can score the basketball. So now all of a sudden you have a weapon that you don't really have to set up. You just have to put him in a situation where he can be in the right position to score. You don't have to set 3, 4, 5 screens for him. You don't have to do that. You just have to put him in a situation where he can score. So that's a big pickup for us getting Alvin Pasaol. And I think you guys will find that out as the conference goes on. He still has to get in better condition, and conditioning, si Alvin na yun, hindi sobrang maganda. Okay lang, pero importante that he improves on conditioning. But he can score the basketball from 3 points, inside the lane, offensive rebound, fast breaks, may talent talaga. Mac Bello, I mean, why would you not want Mac Bello? I mean, he's good for double figure scoring, 7, 8 rebounds a game. He's a talent. We needed more floor spacing to space the floor out a little bit more. He gives us a very solid 3-point shot from the perimeter. And he's just a good player. Not to mention he has a great attitude as a player. So, a lot of people ask, why did you trade for Mac Bello and you let go of Sarah Mir? Well, if you go up against Ginebra and you don't have enough big men, you're not going to beat them. That's the bottom line. I mean, they're just loaded with big guys. I mean, if you don't have quality big guys to combat what they have, especially if one of your guys gets in foul trouble, hey, good luck to you. So picking up Mac Bello was a big lift for us, and hopefully he'll help us a lot this year.
All right. Carl, ikaw na muna. Thank you.
Ben. Yun, I'm talking about Alvin Pasol. Dolph, ikaw na muna. You've covered Alvin Pasol in the 3x3 ranks and in college. Ikaw, ano gusto mo tanong kay Coach about him and your other PBA and Gilas questions naman?
Hindi, siguro i-ride ko muna dun, since nababanggit ni Coach Norman yung Alvin. Coach, since na-mention mo si Alvin Pasol, alam naman natin yung issue dyan. Would always be his weight, his body. Have you talked to him and maybe imposed some weight discretion sa kanya heading to the PBA season?
Yes.
Ang feeling ko lang, si Alvin, siguro magandang weight, around 225. Around 225. And ngayon, malapit siya. So remember, he's a heavy guy. He's not going to be 205 or 210. It's not going to happen. He's going to look like he's not eating any food. Okay? So he's a pretty heavy guy. He's heavy set, the way he's built. Pero, ang conditioning Alvin, okay lang na yun. Pero, ang gusto ko, mas magandang conditioning para si Alvin. So, remember, Alvin had to sit out for the protocols. Okay? That's why he did not hindi samang 3-on-3 team sa practice. And then, balik siya sa practice sa 3-on-3. Siyempre, ang conditioning hindi maganda, di ba? So hindi yung pick parang 3-on-3 competition. And then balik sa Pilipinas, may 2 linggo quarantine. So actually, hindi maraming practices para si Alvin. But he's been back with us for 10 days now. He's been back, so he's getting in better shape. He's looking better every day. I think that's one of the least of my concerns. He's young, bata pa, enthusiastic, and galing. He's talented.
Coach, layo mo sa bagnet si Alvin since you're in Ilocos, ha? Maparami ng bagnet si Alvin. But yun nga, Coach, we mentioned, I think a number of our viewers are asking about Gilas-related questions, and obviously, you were able to handle the national team in different capacities before. We'd just like to get your thoughts first, Coach, of the Gilas team. And people are saying this is probably the tallest national team we have with Kai, with Ange Kwame, with other tall players out there. What's your biggest impressions of their performance in the 2021 FIFA Asia Cup qualifiers?
Actually, swerte ako kasi ako ang samang team sa Laguna Bubble for 5 weeks in preparation parang laro sa Clark in February. Siyempre, it was canceled na or postponed na, so I wasn't able to join. Kasi malapit na ang PBA, diba? So, importante din to take care of the Meralco team. Pero, yeah, what's there not to be excited about? Kai Soto, legitimate 7'3". I mean, taas talaga. I mean, malaki yung bata. Pero, of course, siyempre, yung upper body, he still has to get stronger. But he is a big kid. Si Kwame, legit 6'10", maybe 6'10 and a half. Edu, the kid playing in the States right now from Great Britain, he's a legit 6'9". And then you have other wingmen like Bakasar, Kmart, those guys coming up, who's all stand around 6'6", 6'7", 6'8". Yeah, we have one of the biggest teams around now. It's like baliktad, diba? I mean, before, maliit ang team ang Filipinas, ngayon, we're big. Not to mention, if ang gusto ang SPP, siyempre, Jordan Clarkson is also available, if need be. And you're not talking about malaking tao, pero galing talaga, si Jordan Clarkson. So, hey, you have to be happy. Masaya ako to just be a part of it. And, you know, ang feeling ko lang, ang credit really goes to Coach Tab. They made vision siya, which is to become less reliant on players that he cannot get all the time. Because ngayon ang FIBA, on competitions, it's all year. It's all year. So how can you always get the PBA players, or how can you always get the UAAP players? Mahirap talaga. Hindi pwede. Kasi may laro din sa some other teams. So this way, you know, you're establishing a basic group of guys that can play all the time, and hopefully you can reinforce them with really good players, depending on the tournament. So I'm excited about it. I think the future is really bright para ang RP team.
Coach, you mentioned nga, obviously the bigger guys like si Kai, si Ange Kwame, and interesting that you mentioned some tall players, bigs, actually traditional bigs were converted into wings, like sila Justin Baltasar, sila William Navarro, coach. But looking at the field that you had from February to the group that we had now, the players that we have now, who among those players surprised you in a way, coach? I know you're keeping tabs on college, even though you're focused on the PBA and you're taking exceptions of these young players. But who among those, in a way, kind of surprised you in your book?
Dwight Ramos.
Really, coach?
Why, coach?
My feeling, if si Dwight and pumasok on PBA draft last, February, he would have been the #1 pick in the draft. Magaling siya. Magaling, mabait, tahimik, leadership, pero ang tahimik ang leadership siya. Hindi ang maingay. You know, he's just quiet. But he can play point guard, he can play power forward. I'm expecting big things from him moving forward. Fortunately, parang national team, si Dwight Ramos, ang school team, Ateneo, ang school coach, Tab Baldwin. So at least he'll always be available sa national team, sa RP team. Because ang takot ko, ang problema moving forward is balik sa UAAP, balik sa NCAA, and then what happens to the college players? Will they still be allowed to play with the national team? Siyempre, nayon, okay lang, because walang laro. In the case of Dwight Ramos, he will be there. The other guy that I was very, very happy for was William Navarro, because I had to battle him every day in the drills and practice, and the kid he's galing, malakas, he's versatile, and I was happy to see him play well in the tournament. But I think just like everybody else, the 2-point guards were really impressive. I'm talking about SJ and Abrientos. They were really impressive in the tournament. Malaking Puso, even though ang kalaban sobrang malaki, most of the guards of South Korea, maybe they're around 6'1", 6'2", 6'3". And have you ever seen SJ? SJ is about 5'10", 5'11". Yeah, and I've never actually stood next to Abrientos before, but he doesn't look much bigger. So they displayed a lot of heart, Malaking Puso, sa games versus, well, not just versus Korea, but also versus China.
Interesting picks, coach. Kuya Carl?
Yun, thanks, Dot. Before you ask more questions, pakilala mo natin ng humahabol na 6th member ng ating panel. Idol Snow, saan galing? Nakamute ka, Idol.
Hi Carl, sorry medyo kagigising lang, no? Under the weather pa rin. But anyway, magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat. And Coach Norman, magandang hapon sa iyo.
Long time no see.
Yeah. It's been a while, like 6 years already. But anyway, Coach Norman, I'm just surprised, no? I'm tweeting it now, na you're answering our questions in Tagalog, no? So,
Taglish lang.
But biglang nagkaroon ng but biglang parang naging nabago yata yung imahe ni Coach Norman. Are you trying to repackage yourself, Coach?
Yeah, no, there's an agreement. If he talks in straight English, he'll be fine.
Saan?
By SPIN.PH. Find a specific amount by SPIN.PH.
Did you ask me if I'm trying to repackage myself?
Yeah. Are you trying to repackage yourself?
No, I'm not trying to do that, okay? I'm just trying hard to talk in Tagalog, that's all.
So, kailan niyo pa sinimulan yan, Coach? Mag-Tagalog, yung diretso?
Pwede diretso, ang problema lang, kung minsan, hindi naintindihan ang sabi mo. I don't know what you said. I can speak in Tagalog diretso, pwede. Ang problema lang, I have to make sure I understand, naintindihan anong sabi mo. That's why I said if you can talk to me in Taglish, I can answer you in Tagalog.
So the problem for you
is... Minsan ang tao sa Pilipinas, sobrang bilis ng Tagalog.
Yeah. Tsaka iba-iba.
Yeah, so it's mahirap talaga naintindihan.
But
Pero walang problema ang communications dito sa bansa.
But basically, boss, Tagalog is one of the complex languages in the world, no? Talaga, no, Coach Norman.
Coach, have you tried when you very angry inside the dugout? Have you tried doing a sermon in Tagalog, Coach?
A sermon in Tagalog?
Yeah, that's it.
Nah, when I'm angry, I don't control it. Whatever comes out.
Maybe you should try in Tagalog,
Coach. Coach, have you tried hanging out with Yen Giao? Maybe you can learn a thing or two about cussing in Tagalog.
Alam ko ang bad words, masamang words.
You don't say that. You don't utter that, boss, even in private, even with your friends. You don't.
No.
Okay, that's good. Anyway, Coach Norman, just to ask you about Gilas again, So do you think, boss, this team is for real? Especially that we were able to win two games in one tournament versus the Koreans na dati. Alam ko, isa ka rin dun no? Yung hirap na hirap talaga dati yung Pilipinas, laging ang labanan natin with Koreas. Ganon, di ba? Pero this time around, we were able to impose our, quote-unquote, dominance over the Koreans. Do you think this team, with proper exposure, proper gelling, and proper support, do you think this team is for real? This team that we have right now, the Gilas squad?
I'll answer you. It may not be in Tagalog, but I'll answer you because I want to give you a good answer to this, okay?
Yes.
I was part of the program in February for 5 weeks. I think it was, a week before the games. Isang linggo before ang scheduled games, ang government hindi pwede, di ba? Hindi pwedeng laro. Ang feeling ko ang coaching staff, ang coaching staff, we could beat Korea. Of course, we had Kiefer, we had CJ, we had some other PBA players on the team at that time. Pero we really felt we could beat Korea. Now, why do I say that? Bakit sabi ko? Because see, it's not just the talent lang. For me, para sa akin lang, it's also the system that was being implemented. I mean, you can say whatever you want about Coach Tab, but you can never say he doesn't work hard, okay? And we were putting in the work. I mean, we're meeting in the morning at 8 a.m. We're practicing. Coaches will meet after that first practice. We'll meet with the players before the second practice, and then we'll meet as a coaching staff again that evening to prepare for the next morning. The coaching staff meeting in the evening ends about 11:45, 12 midnight. We're right back at it, 8 a.m. umaga. And that's what we did for 5 weeks.
Wow.
And I always believe hard work breeds success. Now, you give the program and Coach Tab the talent, something good's going to happen, guys. I mean, if you get guys who are willing to commit to that type of work ethic, something good's going to happen. So, no, I wasn't surprised that they beat Korea. I think we can beat them again. I think maybe next time they probably will make sure they bring the strongest possible team that they can bring to the Philippines. They understand now what's going on. But I think you're going to continue to see this in the future as these guys start to grow. When I say grow, I don't mean taas, hindi taas and growth. I'm talking about as players, as they become more competitive. Because you remember, when you play against better teams, you become better. you play against better players, mas magaling ng laro mo din. So, yeah, it's something you can look forward to, Snow, I believe. As long as we can bring in the players. That's why kanina, ang sabi ko, alam ko na si Kwame ang naturalized player. Pero Clarkson also eligible parang naturalized player. So depending on competition, now make choices now.
Correct.
You have choices. Because we're going to have size. Why do we have size? Bucket. See, Kai Soto's 7'3", man. That's no joke.
Yeah.
And he can play. Hindi yung 7'3" and hindi magaling. Magaling siya. He still has a long way to go. Pero, what is he, 19?
19, Coach.
Bata pa siya.
So do you think, boss, this performance that we showed in the last FIBA tournament somehow created waves o napansin din ng ibang mga countries, particularly yung mga karibal natin sa Asia, and that, you know, they might be really looking at the Philippines now and taking us seriously this time around? Especially yung mga nasa taas.
I think they've always taken us serious, no. I mean, we can't say we are the China of Asia, because they've been doing most of the winning, but I think they've always taken us serious. We've always been competitive. Yeah. And so I just think it's going to get better moving forward. Now, syempre, ang problema dito sa Asia na, pumasok ang Australia, pumasok ang New Zealand. So even if the Philippines mas malakas, syempre, New Zealand, Australia, sobrang malakas. They're two of the best teams in the world. So we still got a ways to go. But I think we've certainly made steps, malaking steps now, to come up with South Korea and China.
So that's good.
We're right there.
So at least what's good about this, Coach Norman, is that, you know, our competitions was 2 or 3 steps higher now with the inclusion of New Zealand and Australia. But somehow our team has also improved leaps and bounds somehow, Coach.
Yes, we have improved, but I think the best is yet to come.
Yeah. Coach, lastly, last Tuesday,
magandang future, Snow. Magandang future talaga ang RP team.
Kaya nga. Pero Coach, last time, no, we had this topic in our POV wherein all of us spin staff are talking about a certain topic, but you know, the issue we tackled last Tuesday was, do you think there's a need for Gilas team to be beefed up with PBA players? If you're going to be part of that discussion last Tuesday, what's your take gonna be?
Ang experience ko sa Laguna, importante din ang preparation. Siyempre, importante magaling ang manlalaro. I mean, siyempre, you need good players, but preparation importante din. Now, if you can get the best players and still maintain on preparation, key to success. So if you're telling me that we're going to get the PBA players and they're going to come in with a week's notice, then hindi maganda. Hindi maganda.
So what's the best
situation? If they're going to come in and train for 5-6 weeks, okay lang. Because dito sa bansa, ang magaling ng players dito sa Pilipinas, sa PBA.
Yes,
PBA has the best players in the country. Yes. So if you're telling me they're coming in for 5 or 6 weeks and they're going to be committed, ang sabi ko kanina, ang schedule, di ba?
Yeah.
Hindi madali. Mahirap talaga ang schedule sa RP team. Every day, lahat na araw. O kuminsan, soft heart si Coach Tab, so he may day off, but it's not that often, okay? And you got to be willing to work. So even if you're a PBA player, hey, you got to work. It's the bottom line. If they're willing to do that, then must magaling ang RP team. But if you're telling me, you know, 1 week, dalawang linggo, isang linggo, pumasok ang training to prepare for New Zealand, to prepare for Australia, maybe kulang.
So ilan ang ideal, boss? Ilan yung gaano katagal yung ideal commitment ng players sa team to make it, di ba, acceptable? Yung gaano katagal? Anong stint?
Ang situation dito mahirap kasi ang PBA walang control over ang schedule ng FIBA. if FIBA says, okay, you have a game in September, then you have one in November, then you have another one in January, anong nangyari yung PBA? What do they do? I mean, they stop their tournament every month. Mahirap. You know, the PBA is also an entity in itself. It's a successful entity that runs well. It's a well-oiled machine. So they also have to plan for what they want to do throughout the course of the year. So I don't know. Hindi ko alam. Walang sagot ang answer parang tanong mo. How can we combine the FIBA with the PBA, so all the schedules, so we can get the best mas magaling ang players sa RP team? Ang feeling ko ngayon, based on tapos na ang window, diba, sa Clark, is you're probably going to have a nucleus. And that nucleus is going to start with Kai Soto. It's going to start with Kwame.
Right.
It's going to start with Dwight Ramos. It's going to start with the dalawang point guards, Barrientos and SJ, and they're just going to build. Kasi ang sabi ko kanina, siguro, hindi ko alam, kailan babalik ang UAP and NCAA.
Oo nga.
Ang babalik ng dalawang leagues, then mahirap ang national team. So what does Tamayo do now? Does UP release him? Maybe not. Hindi ko alam.
Baltasar too.
May laro din sa UAP.
Yes.
So there are a lot of daming tanong talaga.
Kaya nga.
Problema, you know, daming tanong. So you cannot really blame Coach Tab for trying to establish a program, a system. In other words, okay, maybe hindi sobrang galing on players compared to maybe on PBA players, but we're going to train for 10 weeks. And that makes a big difference.
Yeah. Okay, Coach.
Lahat ng system, offensively, defensively, mas magandang execution sa loob sa court kasi alam na lahat ang players.
Okay. Coach, bago ko ibalik kay Carl, I just have this intriguing question in my mind. Ano? Matagal ko na tinatanong to since I saw the Gilas play last week. The Gilas team, the new Gilas team. Coach, if we're going to pit this Tab Baldwin squad, no, the one that we saw in Clark, to a selection of a PBA All-Stars, what do you think would be the result, the outcome? If we're going to pit this, itong team ni Tab Baldwin, no, they've been together for months, no? They've been preparing as brothers and as brothers already. And then against a PBA team that's formed 3 weeks prior to a dream showdown, what do you think might be the turnout?
Sama si Kai Soto?
Yeah, kasama si Kai.
And Kwame.
Yeah, and Kwame, yeah. The same team.
My feeling is the PBA players should practice.
Why, sir?
Hard, Coach.
Alam ko, mas magaling ang PBA players, okay? Ang kalabing ko. I'm just telling you, the team puts in a lot of work to get what you just saw. That didn't just happen. There's a lot of work that was put into that. So you're talking about a well-oiled machine going up against individual talent. So my suggestion is, yeah, that individual talent should beat that well-oiled machine because mas magaling ang players individually. Pero ang suggestion ko lang, they should practice.
Why, sir?
Get some practice time, and they shouldn't treat it as an all-star game.
Why? What's in for the PBA players, Coach?
I'm just letting you know this is a team over here. They have plays, they have systems, they have defenses. I mean, everything's in place. They can change things per quarter. In other words, they can do one thing one quarter and do something completely different the next quarter because they're capable of doing that. Wow. So, yeah, these guys are much better players, obviously. I mean, they're pros, but at the same time, they would have to maybe do a little preparation for this.
All right. Thank you so much, Carl.
Thanks, Idol. So before I transfer to Sir Jerry, sagot muna tayo ng mga tanong dito. Kanina pa medyo madaming tanong. Ito from Facebook. Carlo Vergel Lastrella got a question for Coach Norman. With the emergence of Kai, Kwame, plus if Edo decides to play for Gilas again, do you think we still need Junmar for 2023?
Of course. Champre, Galingsi Jumar. Why would you not get him? Even Japit Aguilar for that matter. Why not build your team to a powerhouse team? Add ang dalawa sa team, mas malakas ang team mo. So yeah, I mean, if Jumar's healthy, if Japit's healthy, remember, si Kai, bright future. Si Kwame, bright future. You also need experience too. It helps. And Jumar and Japit have the experience. So if you can add those two guys to the group, that would be even better for the team.
So it's a good problem
for a long time, no, coach? As long as they can practice with the team for a long time, you mean? No?
Well, I say this because, like I said, I work with the group as coaching staff, and I'm just telling you that they really believe that preparation is also a solution to success. In other words, yeah, I can be really great, but if I only practice for 1 week and then I got to go play the Chinese, mahirap talaga. But if I can prepare and still have good players, ang samang magaling ang laro, players, then syempre, I have a better chance of winning. So I would say that, yeah, I would want Japit, I would want Jumar. There's no question about that. I mean, Jumar is the most talented big we have in the Philippines. I don't think anybody's going to debate me on that one. Pero he would have to be just like everybody else. He would have to join the group and dedicate himself to the system, to the preparation, if you really wanted to be successful.
So, Coach, one more question before I let Sir Jerry ask. Again from FB, RC Alejandria Bautista. Coach, did you ever consider playing for the Philippines as a naturalized player, whether as part of the NCC or PBA back team?
We had a story on that. He almost became a naturalized player of
nga pala,
diba, Je?
Baka hindi nabasa ni RC.
Ang problema lang, kasi matagal na, 1980s, it was actually Mr. Danding Kawanko who was the one fixing the papers for me to join as a naturalized player. This is back in the mid-80s. Okay? Ang problema lang, si Mr. Danding Kawanko left the country when President Marcos left. So that's where it stopped. Nobody else really pushed it after that. He was the one who was pushing it.
Oh,
sayang, ano? Sayang
it
pala.
was during, Coach, it was during the time when Dennis Steele and Chip Engeland and...
It was during the Ron Jacobs time, yes.
Ron Jacobs time?
Ron Jacobs was the coach, yeah.
Oh. Was that before or after the 85, you know that?
This probably was around 85, 86. Actually, it was Mr. Chip Panetta, who was actually the one who was doing most of the legwork for it.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
Assistant of Mr. Danding Kawanko. And Mr. Douglas Luyim, who is from Cebu. I think all of them worked at the Coconut Bank during that time.
UCPB, no, Coach?
And they were the ones who were helping me to fix the papers. The problem was, like I said, we had a turn in events, right? And President Marcos left and Mr. Kawanko left with him. So it stopped. Nobody else pushed it after that. The only other people that could have pushed it was the BAP. And they did not.
Yes. Were you excited to join the national team back then?
Well, actually, I was already practicing with them.
Really? With the NCC, Coach?
Yeah, they used to practice in the Blue Eagle gym. And I used to go there and practice. I was like, what do you call it? I would be a Kalaban.
Practice player ka lang pala, Coach.
Basically, yeah. I was also an import, too, at the same time.
Oh. Galing, Coach, no? That would have been something, no, Coach?
Well, the reason why that was being pushed is because I was married to a Filipina. I was married to my wife, Carmen. When I got married, automatically I became they call it an I card, immigration card. It's almost like having a green card in the States. I became a person that could actually live here in the Philippines and work here in the Philippines legally. And that's why they were going to push it.
Wow. Sayang, coach. I would have wanted to see that.
Next, Sir Jay, may ano mga baon mong questions for Coach Norman?
Hi, Coach.
Hi,
Speaking of Gilas,
hindi ko alam ang pangalan mo, Gerardo. Ramos, huh?
Yeah, thank you for reminding that, Coach. Coach, you've said you've worked with Gilas for the past 5 months. So what happened? You didn't continue working with them?
No, I worked for them for 5 weeks.
Oh, 5 weeks. Sorry.
January and February, leading up to the Clark bubble that was supposed to take place in February. And then right after that, we were told by the PBA that we were going to start practice already. Remember, they were allowing us to practice in our gyms, 5-on-0.
Yes.
And I had to go back to my mother team. So when I joined the team with the idea that I was pretty much free and I could help until February. Now, ang problema na yun, obviously, hindi ko alam anong nangyari ang laro sa PBA because walang decision, diba?
Yes.
We haven't gotten the okay yet to practice or play. So I just been practicing with my team because I have malaking responsibility ko din, diba? Sa Meralco team.
Yes.
I have to make sure they're prepared too. Because anytime now, what if the government says, okay, pwede laro na. I have to make sure my team is also ready to play.
But would you consider working with the national team on a full-time basis someday, Coach? Perhaps as a head coach?
I'm actually still part of their group. I'm really up to date on what's happening in the coaching staff, what's happening with the team. I'm just not actively attending practices.
Is Coach Tab Baldwin getting some inputs from you or asking anything?
Not since I left the bubble. I do talk to him and we talk, but he's not really, Tab knows his stuff. He doesn't really have to call and ask me for information. He works hard, but we are in contact, yes.
And speaking of...
To answer your question,
okay, Coach.
If I'm asked to join, I will always join the national team. I've been living in the Philippines since I was 23 years old. So matagal dito sa bansa, diba?
Yes.
So ang feeling ko lang, if they request para sa akin to join the team, then I will never say no. I'll always say yes.
Coach, when you first came over here, did you see yourself settling down here and becoming a coach in the PBA?
No, hindi. I was just like any other import who came to the Philippines. I was here to score points, grab rebounds, and make money. That was the reason why I came over. I was just fortunate, Jerry. Tapos ng year 1 sa Teflon, I was offered a contract by San Miguel.
Yeah.
Tapos ng year 2, San Miguel, I was offered a contract with Great Taste. And it just continued. So, yeah, I was able to play basketball. I was able to work. And then eventually I got married. So legally, I could actually live here in the Philippines.
No regret, Coach?
None at all. None. I'm still involved in basketball. Most of my friends or the people that I grew up with, they're no longer involved in basketball. So no regrets. No regrets at all.
Okay. Appreciate it, Coach. Carl?
Yes, sir. Ikaw, Sir Do, do you have any more questions for Coach Norman to wrap up our first round?
Coach, I'm going throwback, Coach.
Sure.
You've seen the late Ron Jacobs system You've seen his teams. You've worked with him for a while, and you've worked with Coach Tabnam. Can you compare the two systems, the two coaches, how they work? How would you compare the late Ron Jacobs and Tab Baldwin, Coach?
I could really sum it up, Dodo. Ang dalawa, masipag talaga. Hard workers. I mean, they will put in as much time that's needed to be successful. And it doesn't mean it's going to be successful. You never really know, right? But, you know, watching video for 4 maraming hours over and over again, that's normal. Pushing the players to the limit. In other words, as far as mentally, physically, viewing twice a day, 2 practices a day, that's normal. In other words, they know what it takes to be successful. And yeah, masipag ng dalawa, masipag. They're really, really hard workers. And that's why they have had success over the years. Even the late Ron Jacobs was very, very successful coach, even before he arrived here in the Philippines.
Coach, there's a question from one of the viewers about the Detroit Pistons, Ben. Can you...
Sige, hanapin natin. Check natin.
Coach, they were asking about your stint sa Detroit Pistons, no? Who were the players back then? And what do you remember about that Detroit Pistons stint of yours?
Well, my stint with the Detroit Pistons was more of a cup of tea. I won't even say a cup of coffee. It's more of a cup of tea. I wasn't there very long. I actually joined them for a 10-day contract in 1981, I believe it was, which is the same year that I came to the Philippines. I was just a couple years out of college. I was playing in the CBA. When I joined the Pistons, I just stayed for that one 10-day contract. After the contract ended, they kept my rights. In other words, I was still under their umbrella, under their team. So they brought me back to the LA Summer League in the summer of 1981 to play with them, where I was out there for about a month with them playing. Well, we spent the first week in Detroit training, and then we went to LA for 3 weeks to play. And it was that tournament where I was actually spotted by Jamie Mariano, who asked me if I wanted to come to the Philippines to play, okay? I really wanted to go back to camp, but just to answer your question that you asked earlier, the year that I went to that summer camp with Detroit was the same year that Kelly Tripucka and Isaiah Thomas were coming in as rookies to the Detroit Piston team. Yeah. So I kind of felt like Kelly Tripucka plays the same position as me. Isaiah Thomas is a guard. They already had John Long, who's a really good player for them. So I didn't know whether my chances were very good. And the Philippines was offering guaranteed money, so I decided to take it instead of going back to veterans camp and then possibly being cut. Yeah. Possibly making it, but possibly being cut and being left with nothing. I decided to go earn some money in the Philippines. That's what I did. So yeah, it was the 2 guys who were coming in. My teammates were John Long, Ken Benson, Terry Tyler. Yeah, you might not know these guys.
No, I know John Long.
Unless you were really an NBA follower back in those days.
But I know John Holmes.
It was really the 2 most popular guys came in the year that I didn't go back to camp. That was Isaiah and Kelly Tripucka.
Actually, that was the question, Coach. The question was, were you able to play with those 2 guys, Isaiah and Kelly Tripucka? So I guess you've answered it.
Well, I would have if I had gone back to training camp. Mm-hmm. Because normally, like the year before, when I was with the Washington Wizards, or the Washington Bullets, sorry, that's how old I am, in training camp, you normally play 6 exhibition games. So you play 6 exhibition games before the season starts, and then a couple of days after that, the season starts. So I was able to play those 6 games when I was with the Washington Bullets. And so I probably would have at least probably made it up to, hopefully, to the start of the season. but I never really got a chance because I arrived in the Philippines in August, mid-August. Yeah, when it was really hot and really rainy when I arrived. That was in the old airport, huh? You guys remember the old airport where everybody's standing outside as soon as you come out? They're all there. Everybody's there. It's not like it is now.
The old airport, no, coach?
Yeah, it's like looked like 100,000 people waiting outside.
That's because for every one arriving passenger, then they have 20 to welcome him home at the airport. They don't want to go to the airport. You know why, coach? Because they want to hold a picnic before they go to the airport. Diba, Je?
And pasalubong.
And they want pasalubong.
Have something coming.
Coach, are you a big collector guy? Do you still have your Detroit Pistons jerseys, Coach?
My jersey is probably in my mother's house.
Oh.
Yeah, it's probably still there. Yeah, I don't know why she would throw it away. It's probably there.
Right. Yeah. You should have that framed, Coach.
Well, yeah, okay.
Maybe, but I'm sure you'll still fit in it, Coach. You don't age it.
What I really miss is I gave away all my San Miguel jerseys.
Really?
When I was a player, I gave them all away. Yeah.
Why did you do that, Coach?
People would ask, and I'm thinking, and I'm always going to get another one, right? And then eventually, it's wala na, tapos na, it's finished now. And you don't have any more.
Parang hindi pa uso dati yung pine-frame eh, Boss Do.
Oh, Coach. Wala ka nun. Wala ka
Coach
nun.
Norman, during your time, it's not yet the trend to, frame your jerseys, right?
No,
it is. It was. It's just that I'm soft and puso ko. So if you're a fan and you ask, bigay na lang.
how come I didn't bother asking for your car?
I still have my what do you call it? My sweat uniform for San Miguel.
Yeah.
My jacket, and I still have that. That's all I have.
Jogging pants, no, Coach? Jogging. I should have asked for your car back then, Coach.
Even my last game with Pop Cola, I didn't keep my jersey.
Yes, when you were the oldest importer ever, Coach.
No, that's not true, is it? Is that true?
No, because you were already coaching when you played, diba, Coach?
I'm about 40, I guess. 40 years old.
Yeah, 40, no, Coach. Is there an import? Dolph, Ben, you're the numbers guy. Was there another import 40 years old that ever played in the PBA?
I don't think so.
Not for me, that's for sure.
I could ask Sir Fidel, maybe.
Suko and Bata.
Yes, no, Coach, no. That was the third place game, right, Coach, no?
Yeah, that's right. This third place game against Shell. Against my assistant coach, Manny Masao.
Yeah.
Benji Paras. Yeah.
Benji Paras, no, Coach? Wow.
Yes, Coach Luigi Trillo, Coach, is watching right now. Hi, Coach Luigi. Coach Luigi Trillo.
He's not at the beach. He's not on the beach.
I'd rather watch you,
Practice
Coach.
later ba?
Coach, I have a UAP question.
Yes.
If it's okay with you. Of course, in relation to Coach Tab, of course, you've won 5 championships with Ateneo, but Coach Tab now has 3. Do you think he could equal or surpass it, or maybe you still have that record of 5 straight?
Well, Champagne records, they come and go, right? I mean, made to be broken, so I'm not really too concerned about that one. But Kwame still has 2 more years, doesn't he? May dalawang years posse, Kwame?
Yes.
O per day. They can at least tie it. Ang balita sa national team, magaling din ang recruits nila, ang Ateneo team. They have really good players coming in, Philams. So I expect that they're still going to be strong. Hindi ko alam, pero ang isipin ko si Lopez, high school player, did sa Ateneo.
Yes.
So,
Binuhat.
hindi ko alam, pero red day. They might be able to do it, yeah.
Yeah, no, Coach. No.
But Coach, when you went to Ateneo, what was the biggest difference? Of course, you were coaching the PBA, then you made the move to Ateneo. So, how different was it coaching Ateneo comparing to coaching in the PBA?
Malaking advantage sa recruiting. Kasi ang pumasok ako ang Ateneo, syempre may team na. Ang stars sa team, si LA Tenorio, si who else was there?
Villanueva, no, coach?
No, Billy Weber wasn't there. He had left.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
But LA was the star of the team. Larry Fonacher was there. Bugia, Paulo Bugia, the manager of Phoenix. So we had a pretty good team. Chris True was there. Oh God, how could I forget Chris? He was there. So there was a pretty good team there already. Japet Aguilar was actually there too. Okay, he arrived when I arrived. But they weren't really the players that I recruited. They were there. They were good, Magaling sila, but they weren't my players per se. I inherited them when I took over the team. So as the years went on, I started having the ability to recruit guys. And that's why, if you notice, for a while, we really had a lot of good players go through Ateneo. A lot of them are still playing in the PBA up to now. Even had Greg Slaughter go through. So that would probably be the biggest unlocking difference. Sa PBA, hindi pwede. I mean, you may draft, pero ang draft pick mo, unless you're lucky enough to somehow get a #1 draft pick. The draft depends on your finish the year before. And you don't want to finish last, bucket. And siguro maybe walang trabaho because you finished last, diba? So you want to do well, you want to be competitive. But what it means when the draft comes around is you're going to pick low. So it's not like college where I could actually go pick out Justin Chua. I could go get Rabbi Al-Husseini. I could go get Greg Slaughter. I could go get all of these guys that ended up being big stars in the college ranks for me at Ateneo. I don't have that option in the pros. That's why when I can pick up a guy like Mac Bello, I have to take advantage of that. I have to get that done because he can come in and make a difference for the program. So that would be the biggest difference. I mean, obviously coaching college players is a little bit easier because they listen a little bit more. And I'm not talking about Meralco. I'm just fortunate and lucky enough to have a good group of guys here who listen and follow for the most part. But when you're in college, they're really listening. Makinig talaga. Kasi ang gusto sila pumasok ng PBA. So they're trying to get in as much information as they can get, training as they can get, so they can move on to the next level.
How about
that would be ang difference.
Yung mga recruitment coach, were you personally going to talk to their parents? Ganun ba, coach, yung ginagawa mo at that time?
Ang recruiting system sa Ateneo, ang pumasok ako sa Ateneo, normally it was pili young players sa juniors or pili young players sa NCAA UAP teams. What Paulo and I did, Paulo Trujillo, is we started traveling because we found out that lahat ng Filipinas may Ateneo alumni. Maraming Ateneo schools sa Davao, sa Cagayan de Oro, sa Cebu, sa Naga. They're all over the place. So we started traveling to all the schools in all the provinces. And we just, every time we would go out, and we made a lot of recruitment trips. I have to be quite honest with you. We really went around the entire country, north, south, from Baguio all the way down to Cagayan de Oro to Cebu. When we made these trips, we would get in contact with the Ateneo alumni. The Ateneo alumni would get us in contact with the principal of the school, the coach of the school. Then we would meet their parents. And everywhere we went, and this was like without fail, I don't think I've ever said this on air. Everywhere we went, Sambetta and FEU had already been there. It's like they were our competition in recruiting. The two that we would always see on the road. There'd be a tryout in Iloilo. We arrive, we're happy. We think, it's just, that's Neo Lung, huh? We're going to see that. And then we get inside and there's a representative of Sambetta, there's a representative of FEU. We're like, oh, come on. A lot of it for Sambetta was because of Coach Badalato. He had a system around the entire country for high school players. So he was able to recruit them as they came out of grade school, basically. Of course, FEU was always there. They were always there. FEU probably has the best system for recruiting in the provinces.
Yes, yes. I agree, Coach. Yeah. I've seen it work.
Coach, I want to ask about one of your players, Ryan Buenafe.
Ron J was my player.
Okay, sorry. Right. Sorry, Ryan Buenafe, and of course, he went on record saying that may times na he was medyo hindi nagpa-practice, he wasn't attending. What's your comments on those statements by Ryan? Was it true?
Yeah, he did miss practices. Normally, the reason that he gave in that podcast is not the one he gave me when he was missing. Otherwise, things would have been a little bit different. But he did miss practices, and he did lack a little bit of discipline back in those days. We were very patient with Ryan, as we were with all the players. Remember, these are young kids, and they can be influenced very easily. So, we try to be patient with him, and eventually it paid off. He ended up graduating. He ended up finishing his 5 years at Ateneo. But some of those things he talked about in the, sorry guys, derecho en English now, let me slow down, okay? Some of those things he talked about in that podcast, I did not know about. Like, I did not know that he was drinking and all of that. I had no idea that he was doing that. I'm not the type of coach that's going to police you after practice is over. I'm not that type of coach. What I would police is you going to class. You making sure that you took care of your studies. But if you went out after school was over and after practice was over, I'm not going to follow you around.
But Coach, after the fact that he admitted that he was drinking and those things, do you think it's even more a testament to the talent that Ryan Buenafe has with Ateneo?
Well, we all make choices, right? I'll tell you a little story in Canting Quinta about Ryan. I still don't know if Ryan even knew my plays at Ateneo. My offensive plays. Play 4, play 1, play 2. Hindi ko alam siya ang plays sa Ateneo. Pero you would never know it. He's one of the smartest players I've ever seen. He could just make it look like he knew everything that was going on, even if he didn't. He could fit in. In other words, he had a feel for the game. He could just make the right moves. He's a really good player, really talented. I was really very fortunate when I was recruiting that I was able to get Eric Salamet, and I was able to get Ryan Buenafe, and the one I let get away, which I wish I had also recruited, but I didn't recruit because he played the same position as Eric Salamet, was Paulie. They were all teammates.
Yes, right.
In high school.
Right.
And I got 2 of the 3. I didn't get the last one, and he turned out to be a hell of a player.
Oh. What was your opinion then, that Eric Salamat was better than Paul Lee or what?
Well, Eric was actually the MVP, I believe.
Right.
But no, I thought Paul Lee was really good in high school. I just, it's the same reason why I didn't recruit Mariano.
Aljon?
Yeah, he came out the same year as Nico Salva. And I recruited Nico Salva. And I had this thing where I never wanted to recruit two players who played the same position, who were the same size in the same year, because I thought that would stunt the growth of one of them. And my whole idea when recruiting these guys was get a good education at the nail. We'll train you for the PBA. How can I do that if they're both playing the same position for 5 straight years? Mahirap. I mean, so I didn't want to stack guys on top of each other. I wanted to, okay, if I got Nico Salva, then maybe next year or 2 years later, I'll recruit somebody at that position to relieve him when he graduates. But I didn't like to put them on top of one another.
Coach Paul Lee admitted in one of my interviews that actually no one recruited him during going to your college.
Well, I didn't say we recruited him because we didn't get him, right?
Yeah.
I said he was there, though. He was there.
Yeah.
I watched Ryan and Eric and Paul Lee play when they were in high school. And you could see the guy was really good. It's just that our choice turned out to be the two guys. But he was there and he was good. He was good in high school. He didn't have the same career in high school that Eric had, but he was good. He's a good player.
Was that one of your
Regrets?
Totga, coach? You know Totga, the one that got away. Paul Lee should be one of your.
It actually turned out pretty good though. I won a lot of championships with Ryan, 4 had to be exact, and I think I won 3 with Eric Salamat. So.
Yeah, no, coach, no.
Yeah, it turned out to be okay.
Maybe just different, but successful just the same, no, coach. Coach, I want to ask a question. It was asked by Aldi41. Coach, kung import ka ngayon sa PBA, what do you think would be your scoring average?
Ngayon?
Yeah, ngayon, coach.
You're gonna ask me that? Okay. What was my scoring average before?
It is around 39, maybe, coach. 40 plus, no, coach.
Actually 40, yeah.
Oh, see, 40, coach.
Yeah.
And you didn't have a good free throw. You're not a good free throw shooter pa, coach. What if you're a good free throw shooter then? Maybe 50, coach, diba?
Yeah, I was a 68% free throw shooter.
See, coach, I remember your career, coach.
Yeah. I'm always amazed that fans think that whatever was done in the past couldn't be duplicated today. For some reason, I have no idea. But I was a pretty decent player in the United States before I came to the Philippines. I didn't just become good when I came here. So if I averaged 40 then, I'm sure I could average 40 now. I don't really see the difference, to be quite honest with you. Yeah, that's just my feeling. I mean, that's Kanting Yabang, by the way, pero. That's just my feeling. It's like me telling you that Billy Ray Bates couldn't be a star today in the PBA. I mean, come on, guys. Or Bobby Ray Parks couldn't be a star in the PBA today. Are you serious? Or Sean Chambers wouldn't be a star in the PBA today. I think they would be.
Coach, I'm sorry to butt in. Can you compare the difference of basketball now to your time, Coach? If there is one credible source, it's you, because you played during the 80s and 90s, and now you're coaching in the modern times, Coach. Can you compare the difference? Is it a world apart, or?
No. Basketball is basketball, Snow. What I will tell you is this, though. We played at a much faster pace than they play today. I don't know whether it's because the coaching controls the game a little bit more. Mm-hmm. But, you know, I played for Baby DeLupe and I played for Tommy Manotok, and they just let us go, man. If we could score 125, 130 points a game, then fine, so be it. You know, nobody's trying to tell us that that's a bad shot, or, you know, you shouldn't take that shot, or no, if it's a decent shot, take it. We'll come back down, get the ball again, go down and shoot it again. That was their attitude towards the game. Now the coaches have a lot more control over the game and how it's played. You can say the defenses are better now, if you want to say that, but I think it's more about pace. I just don't think we run at the same pace today as we used to. And you can see it in the PBA, the NBA. The NBA has gone through stretches where they were run and gun. And then they went through that stretch where they were just beating each other up in 90-point games. And now they're back to run and gun again.
Yes.
20-point games. So when I played in the PBA, we were a 125-point a game team.
Yeah.
You know, we're putting up points. And it's not because I can score 50 points a game. It's more because of the pace. If that coach has said, no, I want to control the game and slow it down, I want to make sure you make 4 or 5 passes, or he puts in plays where, you know, we gotta move the ball to 5 different guys before we shoot, because that's the play, then of course that's going to slow the game down. That's why you have to love the way Jaworski played, and the way Arnice played, the way Atoy Cole played, the way Bernie Fabiosa and all those other guys played in those days, because it was basketball. It was like playground basketball a little bit, where, you know, they let us get out and run.
Coach, if you're going to time travel a batch of players from today to your era, and then players from your era playing in today's game, how do you think it will go about? What do you think would be the result for the players? How can they, do you think they will thrive? And what do you think from these 2 batches will perhaps be dominant or can adapt to the time zone?
Yeah, I think players will adapt. And it is similar to the question that was asked earlier, how many points do I think I would score today if I was playing in the PBA? And I say that because the players coming to the PBA are from the United States for the most part. Is that correct, Tama? Diba? And I came from the United States. I came from this directly from the CBA, which is the Continental Basketball Association, which is now the G League.
G League.
Basically, it's the G League.
Right.
I came to the Philippines from the Continental Basketball Association, averaging 27 points a game in that league. I was like the 3rd leading scorer in the league. Billy Ray Bates was number 2. Okay, so why would I not be able to score points in the Philippines? I was scoring them in the States. It's the same thing. If you transfer me into this era, I'm coming from the States. I'm probably a pretty good player. I'm probably averaging points. I'm still going to be able to score. That's the way I look at it. I don't, you know, just like I say, these guys today could play in our era. Those guys before can play in this era. And a lot of people compare Jumar and Mon Fernandez. 2 completely different players, believe me. One is a dominant inside threat, rarely goes outside of 10 feet, but he has a great touch for a big guy, great timing, great rebounder, okay? The other one was completely different player, all-around player. Led the league in assists, led the league in steals, led the league in blocks, led the league in scoring, led the league in almost everything category there is. 19 championships to his name, I believe. And he was a completely different player. Why do we think Mon Fernandez would not be able to play today when he was a multi-talented guy who could do just about everything on the basketball court? Why? Because he was born in the 50s? No, I don't think so. I think he would be able to play today if he was put into this era. He would adapt. He would adapt. So that's the way I look at it, Snow. I mean, I don't, you know, people seem to forget when you get old. Like, I rarely ever hear Julius Erving, Dr. J's name mentioned when it's the greatest players of all time. Never hear his name anymore. All I hear is LeBron, Kobe, Kevin Durant. Nobody says anything about Julius Erving. But if you lived like all of us did when he was playing, that's all you heard was his name.
Yeah.
And then time goes by, people forget, people didn't see, they just forget all about it. But how can you tell me Julius Erving couldn't play today?
Yeah.
If he was put into this era?
Coach, but if God will give you the chance to choose the era you're going to play, what would that be? During your time or during now?
I like my time. I think it was better suited for my skills. I was more of an athletic guy. I wasn't overly skilled as far as being able to, you know, dribble the basketball like a wizard or shoot from 3 points and all of that. Mine was all about running the floor and outworking everybody, out hustling everybody, being in better shape than everybody. So I was in an era where coaches like Baby and Baby DeLupin and Tommy Manotoc and the other guys during that time, they would allow us to score 130 points a game every night. That's something that I probably fitted to a little bit better. I'm trying to change my team this year into a running team.
Oh,
Ooh.
I'm trying to bring back some of those things we did before.
wow.
I was a player.
That's interesting.
So if I was to fall into a team like that, then okay. I mean, like if you look at the last year's stats, the only running team we really had in the league was Inlex.
Yeah.
I think they by far led the league in scoring, and didn't lead to them making it to the Final Four. But at the same time, they did lead the league in scoring. They shot the ball really well. I like that style of play. I like the fast style. Gives you a better chance of winning.
So
Some people would say just the opposite. No, slow the game down, so we have a better chance of winning. I would rather get out and run.
So we should expect an 80s, 90s type of team from Meralco now, Coach? Is that it?
I can only hope, no. That won't happen. That's what I want to happen. I mean, I want us to be faster. I want us to run at a faster pace, quicker pace.
More fast breaks.
Whether we'll reach the numbers of the 1980s is, that might be a little bit far-fetched, because we only averaged about 94 points a game last year.
So more fast breaks, no? Tsaka yung mga baseball pitch nung araw ninyo, no? Nawala na yun, eh, no? The art of baseball pitch.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? Do you remember the guys taking chances and just throwing coast-to-coast passes for layups?
Yeah.
I mean, if you followed the CRISPA teams before, they were just famous for that. The Toyota teams, they were famous for guys getting rebounds and just letting it fly, and guys on the other end just catch it for layups. You don't see that anymore.
Jaworski,
Yeah, you do that a lot, boss. Yeah, during your time, you do that a lot.
Yes.
You rebound the ball and then you just have to throw it to the other side.
I actually, ang galit ako talaga if ang point guard ang balik to receive the ball. Ang gusto ko ang outlet. That's why ang pangalan outlet, hindi inlet, outlet. So I want him to run. That's what I used to always tell Hector Kama. Do not come back asking for the ball. Just go.
Yeah.
I'll give you the ball.
That's
I'll
good.
bring it to you. That's what I would rather see. There's a lot of times Solaro Nayon, they rebound. What's the first thing the rebounder does? He takes a picture. He holds it. Click, click. So now he's holding the ball, right? So, and then the guard will come back and say, oh, give it to me. Big guy. So now, how can you run?
Yeah. Because all of the defenders are already down.
Hindi pwedeng takbo. So, ang gusto ko, rebound, attack. Rebound, attack.
So we bring...
Importante din ang talent mo. You got to have the talent to be able to do that.
Okay. Coach, how are you at Meralco? How are you addressing the need for a big man, especially that, the three teams from San Miguel have their, twin towers, most of them. How are you addressing that? Because, that's one of the waterlows of the MVP team, especially Meralco. You have been in the finals, but, turned out to be short because of, this one major woes or perhaps yung wala sa team mo.
Well, ang talking text team, okay lang, si may aram. But yeah, ang team ko, si Raymond Amazon is our biggest player. And of course, I'm not sure with the Inlex team, but malaking pick up parang Meralco team, si Noy Baclao. See, at least physically, defensively, he can hold his own against bigger guys. Champray, and he's not as good as Jumar Fajardo, obviously, but at the same time, he can hold his own. He won't be pushed around. He can block shots. He can rebound the basketball. And thankfully, thank the Lord, he's healthy. Okay? He's been practicing with us now, and he looks pretty decent. He looks pretty good. Raymond is the key for us. Malaking key, si Raymond Amazon. Since I received him, he's either been hurt or he had protocols problem one time, and then, he hasn't been able to get himself into great shape. But I just hope he can build on what's happening right now, because he's not only in good shape, he looks pretty good. I haven't seen him look this good since Rain and Shine.
But are you still shopping around for a big man, Coach, apart from Baclao?
Nasaan? Nasaan?
Yun nga ang problema, no?
Nasaan malaking tao? Hindi Ateneo pare, hindi pwede yun. Pupunta sa you know,
sa market.
Agandoro. And gusto ko si Poyerm. I'll sing it. Thank you. That's what I did, by the way. Poyerm came from Cagayan
Yeah.
And he played for me in college at Ateneo. I can't do that here. I can't do it. You know, it's hindi pwede.
You have to pass through the draft, no? And
yeah.
Pero coach, sa mga free agent wala na ring mahanap talaga malaki, no?
Meron, pero mas magaling ang big man sa team ko.
Oo nga, correct. Tama.
May budget din ang team.
Yeah. If ever Asi will retire, boss, will you pick him up or?
I think if Asi retires, I think he's part of the coaching staff, huh?
Pero mukhang hindi pa siya nire-retire up to now, di ba? He's still part of the team, eh.
Oh, he is? He's still a player? I didn't know the Hindi call him.
Yeah.
No, I'm okay with Raymond. I'm okay with Raymond right now.
Pero
people don't realize it, but think back. We've actually done pretty good with Raymond Amazon. We've been in a championship. Okay, we came in Final Four in the last bubble. So we've actually done pretty good with him around, despite the fact he's never been 100%.
Yeah. But the problem with one Raymond Almazan is that when you face a team like Ginebra, they have two big men. They just put Japet on Raymond, and then you have another problem in Christian Stanhardinger or Slaughter, di ba?
Yeah, ang problema talaga.
Pero with this Ginebra team, with Christian Stanhardinger now, and then you're going to face them in the finals, for example, same finals like last time. Do you think they've improved a lot with the acquisition of Stanhardinger?
Jeffrey, mas malakas ng Ginebra team. How fortunate have they been? I mean, they've picked up Stanley Pringle and Stan Hardinger in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Okay, boss, last question from my end, Carlo, before you pick it up. Boss, do you think somebody like Alvin Pasaol, who's 6'4", but he plays like a big man, do you think he can thrive in the PBA?
Alvin's only about 6'3".
Yeah, 6'3", yeah. The thing that he plays like a big man wherein he's going to be pitted against June Marfardo, against some other big guys like Stan Hardinger and maybe Poy Eram in the future. Do you think he can thrive? Do you think he'll have a long career in the PBA? Or you're going to teach him to slowly slide down to a number 3 or maybe somewhere kung saan po pwede siyang...
See, Alvin, hindi yung malaking tao.
Oh, yeah.
Alvin's a 2-guard.
Yeah.
Swingman, 3-man. That's what he is. He's not a big guy. I mean, Alvin can run. He can. You'll see. The kid can play the perimeter. He's a good 3-point shooter. He can penetrate to the basket. He can shoot the 3. I just said that. And he's very good on fast breaks. He can really push the ball.
Yeah.
For me, he's more of a 2-3.
Wow, that's good. That's good. So,
he's not a big guy. I don't see him playing any 4. And definitely no 5.
Yeah. Okay. So are you having him into a transition, or you're just giving him where he's comfortable?
You know, I was fortunate. I was saying earlier, in sabi ko kanina si Verhel.
Yeah.
Kenneth. I didn't actually get to coach Kenneth. Okay. Nelson Asaitono. Alan Kayadick. So for me, Alvin's the type of player that you don't want to put him in a box. Just want to let him play. The kid can score. He can score the basketball against anybody. So I don't really want to put him in a box on. What I would like to see is that we run a little bit like we did it at Ateneo, where the 1-man, the 2-man, the 3-man, anybody can push the ball, start the offense. And he would be part of that. I would not try to put him in a box and say, oh, you got to stay here, stay there. I don't know about you guys. I mean, some of you guys covered the UAP.
Yeah.
You agree with me or you don't agree? Yes, I know what I see in practice every day. I don't know whether it's real. Maybe it's not real. I don't know. But
Agree, Coach.
Score.
Agree, Coach. I agree.
to score the ball.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he needs to lose some weight. Yeah, he has got to get in better shape. But I mean, when it comes to scoring, I compare him to a quicker, faster Noli Laksin.
Noli Laksin, no, coach? Eh? There's a
That's
lot
what I
of
compare him
things.
to.
Yeah.
Uses his body really well around the basket, can bang you and still get the shot off.
Yeah.
Good offensive rebounder.
And the fact that he was exposed to international basketball gives him some more upsides, right? Okay.
Yeah, if you get to know him, there's an inner confidence there that, you know, most players don't carry around. Hindi yung sabi ko, yabang siya. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying he's got an inner confidence that's inside of him that he knows he's pretty good.
All right. Anyway, Coach, we've been keeping you for so long. We promise you to have you only until 6 o'clock, but it's already 6:05. Coach, normally we have this fast take segment for our guest wherein we ask him and then require him to answer within the next 3 seconds. But nonetheless, we won't be doing that. But I prepared 3 questions for you, Coach. I hope you don't mind answering for us. The top 3 best players of all time for you, Coach. Players you played with and now as a coach.
I would have to go with Jumar. I'll put him at the top of the list. Mon Fernandez and Ricardo Brown.
Wow. Okay, Coach, your most unforgettable defender and what did he do to you?
Actually, there are 2. Can I name 2?
Yes.
My most unforgettable defenders would have been Chito Loizaga and Avi King.
What did they do, Coach?
Teammates, by the way. No, actually, neither one of them were dirty players. They just played me hard. I mean, they just, they made things difficult for me. Avi King and I always had the respect for one another, where we would just be very physical and but nothing dirty. And in the case of Chito, we just played a game of tag. Who could get the last hit, at the end of the game, who's going to get the last hit. So whoever gets the last hit that game the other guy gets the first hit the next game. So it's just a matter of just, wanting to pop each other every time. But it's really interesting because when you finish your career and then you meet up with these guys, you can feel the respect that comes with that, how you played each other as players. Like when I saw Avi King in Canada, it was like I saw a lost long brother. Kalabin, diba? Kalabin siya, pero lost long brother because we battled so many times. Same thing with Chito. When I see Chito, it's like I'm seeing a brother. Even though we were never Indian kaibigan sa loob sa court. So, yeah, they will be the 2 guys.
Wow.
Okay, Coach, another question. What's the more important phase of your life? Your stint in the NBA or the PBA?
Stint ko sa NBA, cup of coffee along, just cup of tea, cup of coffee. Very short. So definitely my stint in the PBA.
Wow. That's good. So you're staying here for good, Coach, after your coaching career? And
no, don't you think it's for good already? I've been here for 40 years.
Yeah, I know.
I've been here since 1981.
Wow.
So since 1981, mas matagal ka na dito talaga, boss. Ano? I mean, talagang most of your life talaga nasa Pilipinas na pala, no?
Wow.
Ang bahay ko, I think we built it in 86. Ang tawa ko sama. So yeah, I've been living here since 1981 basically.
Buti yung mga parents mo, boss, hindi nagseselos, no? Your parents, your brothers, like saying, hey, Filipino ka.
Ang mami ko, ang pupunta dito at least 8 times. Walong beses na. She's been here a lot.
Wow.
She was here right before the pandemic.
She likes it here, Coach? She likes it here?
Yeah, she likes Cebu. She loves
Cebu. Cebu. Oh. So, pero kumain ka na ng balot, Coach? Balot.
Ako, yeah. Mami ko, hindi.
Kumakain ka na regularly,
Ang balut? Okay lang. Yeah, okay lang. Siyempre, hang it talaga, pero masarap.
Okay, Coach. Maraming salamat.
Jay, go now. We'll just hold you up for 2 more minutes, Coach. Jerry has something to ask you, Coach. Then, that's it, Coach.
Okay, Coach, you're both on the winning and losing end of a Grand Slam. Who would you think will win? The 83 Crispa Grand Slam or the 89 San Miguel Beer Grand Slam team?
Ano tanong mo? Siyempre, madali. 89 Grand Slam team. Siyempre. I'm not going to choose Crispa over San Miguel. That's not going to happen. Hey, don't get me wrong. Crispa was a great team.
Yes, yes.
They were a great team. Maybe man for man, maybe they could have beaten us. But I did have Mon Fernandez, right?
Yes, yes.
So I had a pretty good team also. A good team.
Okay, Coach, name at least 3 Filipino players who pissed you off during your playing time.
Oh, that might be easy. Bong De La Cruz. Archie De La Cruz, I think his name was.
Yeah, Angie.
Archie De La Cruz. Vic Sanchez.
Did he spit on you, Coach? Did he spit on you?
No. He's just he's a physical guy. Vic Sanchez.
Rambo.
Yeah.
Rambo.
I can't remember his first name, but Noblasada. Noblasada?
Jimmy
Noblesada.
Yeah, those 3.
Iron Man.
Yeah. They might have gotten me upset a few times, yeah.
Okay, last Coach. You played with Bogs Adornado and handled Alan Kaidik, 2 of the best shooters Philippine basketball ever produced. Game down on the line, last seconds, championship on the line. Who would you take the last shot?
Wow. That's Mahirap. Mahirap talaga. Si Bogs, galing talaga, yung shooter. And of course, I think Alan was probably the best? Or one of the best. Oh, man. Do I have to answer that?
Yes, Coach.
I played with both of them, too. I didn't win a championship with Boggs. I won a championship with Allen. I'll go with Allen. Don't disrespect the Boggs, but I'll go with Allen.
Or perhaps you can just shoot the ball, Coach.
Yeah, if it's inside the lane, yeah.
Okay,
Coach, Coach, thank you so much for the time you spent with us. I was supposed to ask you about the reporter you saw in the CR, but I'll just reserve it.
Reporter in the CR. No reporter.
What's the reporter?
Wag na. Urban legend yun.
Coach.
Urban legend yun. Urban legend yun. Urban legend.
Coach, before we close, I'd just like to thank you and say to you that you're always a shining example for me that good guys finish first, Coach.
Thank you, Dodo. We've been knowing each other a long time, so that's
Coach.
That's big coming.
But you're like a vampire, Coach. You don't grow old.
Yeah, I do. Believe me. My players keep me young.
Thank you again, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, guys. Maraming salamat lahat, huh? Thank you.
Bye, Coach.
Salamat, Coach.
Okay, guys.
Guys,
And again, on behalf of the staff, Coach, maraming salamat for squeezing in your time. I know you have a viewing session coming up. So yun, to our viewers, we'd like to thank again Coach Norman, the champion American coach who's Filipino by heart. So catch us again next week for another edition of SPIN.PH Zoom In, and of course POV muna for Tuesday. So on behalf of our production crew, one-man production crew, Jam Mariano, and our staff, my name is Carlos Sacamos. It's been our pleasure to conduct another edition of Spin Zoom In with Coach Norman Black. Maraming salamat po sa lahat at ingat po tayo lahat. Thank you.
Maraming salamat, guys. Thank you.
Bye, Coach.
Thank you.
thank you, Coach.
Salamat, Coach.
For everything about life beyond the game.
For everything about life beyond the game.
For everything about life beyond the game.
For everything about life beyond the game. For everything about life
Beyond the game.
Visit spin.ph/life.
For everything about life beyond the game.
For everything about life.
For everything about life. For everything about life beyond the game.
Beyond the game.
Beyond the game.
Beyond the game. For everything about life.
Beyond the game.
Beyond the game. Visit spin.ph/life.
For everything about life.
For everything about life.
For everything about life beyond the game, visit spin.ph/life.
SPIN.PH/life.